Now, I can't lie. While I was in prison, I had my share of canteen.
Read up, man. Straight up. We done read up, man. Keep this shit coming, man. Fill this bed up.
Down, man. Suitcase this, my cell phone number, charger, don't walk with a limp. Get it knocked off or missing, you gon' get it. Next time I see your ass, you gon' leave airlifted.
Yeah, man. You gotta live like a boss, man. Straight up, man. Soups for days, man. Beef stew after beef stew, man. Cheese squeeze game, man. Cookie down there, man. Chips out this fucking world, man. Batteries on deck, man.
What's up, everybody? You already know, man. Kfrogtv back in the building. Y'all go ahead and do me that solid favor. Hit that like and subscribe button. And make sure you hit the notification bell so you can see it first. Today, I'm going to be speaking on a situation that backfired on a gang when they tried to extort someone while I was locked up inside a Florida prison. All right? Now, everyone knows, and I've said this numerous times, the littlest shit means so much in prison. As much as a soup. A soup goes a long way inside of prison, you feel me? Especially for people who are hungry. You know, when they stomachs touching their back and they need something that fulfill that spot, they gonna do whatever they gotta do over something as petty as a soup, all right? Now, there's always been a lot of extortion going on, probably in any damn system there is, not just down here in the state of Florida. I've had my share, you know, putting down on people before. I've even made people, you know, break bread, you know, a couple times. I won't put too much out there about it, but that's the way it is, you feel me? Only the strong survive, and you gotta do what you gotta do. Now, when it comes to extorting, you know, basically, I want what you got. I'm gonna take what you have. Whatever your family sends you is gonna be mine. Whether I have it or not. Whether I already have my own, I want what you have. You understand? And, you know, a lot of JIT camps that got shut down here in the state of Florida due to extortion. You know, when I was in Calhoun, in G-Dorm, aka Gangland, they kept us all right there. They knew that was the extortion house. They knew that's where anyone comes in there, bitch, you gonna have to pay rent. People gonna take your shit. You know, and it is what it is. Now, it don't always go good, you know. Some people are willing to fight over their shit. Some people ain't. Some people rather just break bread, you know, just so they can avoid the situation. You know, because consequences and repercussions come with, you know, if you don't break bread when you're asked to, as well as consequences and repercussions can come to people who try to extort people. You understand? You fuck around and mess with the wrong person, and it's a gamble on both parties. All right, let's put it that way. And I've had a share of homeboys also, you know, that, you know, we're known for that robbing shit.
Zuzus and wham whams, y'all. Zuzus and wham whams, man. What that is, about 30? Straight up, big boy knife.
But me alone, me personally, I never been on the other side where someone extorted me or anything like that, you know? And I'll never speak on anything on this channel other than facts. Almost every single thing I speak on, I have footage on. You know, I just have everything saving for the right time, you understand? Now, for this situation that took place, like I said, it had to do with a gang, and it backfired on them when they tried to extort someone. And what it was is someone had came to that camp, and I was at Calhoun at the time. They came to the camp, they looked vulnerable, you know, you could tell they had money. All they cared about was looking at their ID every day, like wondering if their money's on. You know, when someone goes to the canteen window, you could see it in their face. You know, you learn these things in prison. You can see the expression on their face if they're expecting money. If they're let down that the money ain't on there yet, that means that it should have been. That means they're definitely expecting money. You can read people's energy as far as when they're waiting in line to check their card to see if that shit has funds on there, you know? So the gang was the Bloods. They tried to put down on this one person and try to make them break it off, all right? And you never know who it is you're dealing with or who you're gonna get yourself involved with. You know, you never know who this person is, what their true colors are, or any of that. And it was crazy because when they first approached them, they approached them in my dorm. They went up to him, they told him, look, it is what it is. This shit's ran by such and such. You know, you're gonna have to pay rent to stay here, blah, 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 whatever else they may have threw in his ear, okay? And, you know, a lot of people felt like, okay, he's breaking it off, because after that, he went to the canteen window. He had about 3 of them they escorted him over there. They brought him over there, and they stood in line with him, basically told him, get this, that, this. Gave them the whole rundown of what it is they wanted. They wanted specific items out of the canteen window. They didn't just want, oh, give me $15 a week and you just give them 15 bags of Cheetos, you know? They didn't want that, you feel me? They literally wanted what they wanted. Maybe a chicken sandwich for every single one of their brothers, a Sprite for every single one of their brothers in the dorm, a bag of gummy bears so they can all share it. You know, you never know what it is they specifically wanted. So, you know, they escorted them over there. Now, once we seen them coming back to the dorm, me and the person that slept next to me, we was talking about it. We're like, damn, bro, look, they got him to break it off. And I was kind of laughing because I knew all the gang members at that camp at the time. So I was laughing because them boys was talking about, oh yeah, we gonna get him to break it off. We gonna get him to break it off. And the person who they were actually, you know, getting to break it off, he was a black inmate, you know what I'm saying? He wasn't a white boy, you know, so it wasn't like they were prowling on a different race or anything. He was the same race they were. And so I was looking out the window with the person that slept next to me, watching him go to canteen, watching to see how it goes down. Because you never know if someone's gonna do something. You never know if they're gonna like decide to rob them or get to the window and be like, you know what, the hell with 15, bitch, max out, I want all of it. Since we're here, I want all of it. I seen you had 100 on your card, I want all that shit. You know, you never know how it's gonna go. So we would always watch and see it go down. And he went to the window, got them what they wanted. They're all walking back, each holding a couple items. They're all walking back to the dorm, including him. You know, he's got his little bag of canteen that they let him keep. So when he comes in the dorm, you feel me, he goes over there, whatever. And still, all he cared about was his canteen. He didn't really care that he even had to give them some, you know, no matter what it was. So in my mind, I'm like, damn, he broke. First day he got put in gangland, he broke it off, you know. So after a while, you know, people would go up to him thinking that they can get stuff off of him. You know, try to get stuff like as far as like borrowing. Hey man, let me borrow a suit, bro, and I'll give you one back. They wouldn't pay him, you feel me, because he was vulnerable. They knew he wasn't gonna do shit about it, you know. And after a while, you know, the Bloods, they would get tired of that shit from other people. Because now it's like, oh, you stepping on my toes, you know what I'm saying? Here, this man pays us, but he's got you in his pocket and in his ear every single day trying to front some shit. So even though he already paid us what he owes us, if I wanted to get something from him, if I wanted to walk up right now and be like, hey, bro, let me get a suit, he ain't got it because he lent you it. You see? So the Bloods ended up like, you know, telling the other people, bitch, lay off him. It ain't nothing. He's ours. You know, shit like that. So on this specific day now, look, this is how this shit flips around. On this specific day, you feel me? I seen him, you know, probably give it to him like 2-3 times. And on this specific day, they ended up, you know, the Bloods ended up having a meeting inside of our dorm. You know, all of us went to chow. The only ones that stayed back was the Bloods, and then a couple ones from a different dorm. You know, they violated by sliding over there just so they can have their little meeting. Well, I guess around the time when they were doing the meeting, as we were all at chow, we all the same inmate who was breaking it off, he ended up coming back to the dorm earlier than everyone else. So when he came back to the dorm earlier than everyone else, by the time we all made it back into the dorm, he was over there with all the Bloods. You know, like I guess the ones that was like, you know, putting down on him was like, oh, come here, and showed the brothers like, hey, if anything happens to us, if we go to confinement or if we, you know, get put under investigation or anything like that, this person right here, you know what I'm saying, this the one that, you know, basically like put his face out there so they know who to keep trying to get shit from, just in case the ones who were getting it from him end up, you know, getting shipped or whatever it may be. So, but on this specific day, he ended up meeting, you know, the head of the Bloods. That was the head at the camp at that time, you know. Him, all the other soldiers from different dorms and shit, along with the ones inside of my dorm that was, you know, putting down on him and shit. So, just like, you know, everyone's getting to see his face, he's getting to see everyone else's face as well, you know. And all of us that just seen him over there were like, oh, look, they fucking with him, you know, they slap boxing him, you know, like picking on him and shit. But he was kind of cool with it, you know. It ain't like he was like always had his head down and they forced him to come around him and shit. He was like cool that they weren't messing with him to where he felt like they were his friends. He was playing along with them, I guess, or he felt like they were buddies, you know. He felt comfortable with them. All I gotta do is pay them and they'll leave me alone and no one in here will mess with me. That's basically what he felt like, you know, was the right thing to do. As long as I give them their little, you know, couple, you know, cents, give them their little shit off the top, they'll make sure I'm good on the whole compound or whatever it may be. That's probably what he was thinking in his mind. So I'd say after a good month of him, you know, breaking them off every single week, every time he hit the canteen window, you know, that you'd see them walk with him. He'd be standing in line. He's got his canteen bag in his back pocket with a list in his hand. He's got 2-3 bloods around him. They're bringing him to the canteen window. They're just standing in line with him. You know, they tell the officers they're getting a card check. That's why they're out there in the canteen line. Card check, card check. Really, they're just making sure he hits the window, and then they're all walking back with their items. You know, it was like clockwork. They were doing this shit every single week. Well, what ended up happening on this specific week, and this is when shit gets good, when shit hit the fan. On this specific week, he ended up giving them their canteen, boom. And then I guess he had a call out or whatever to medical or some shit like that, to where he had to like go, you know, out of the dorm and leave, you know, where we live at. So he went to medical. On the way back from medical, he didn't come to our dorm though. He went to another dorm. You feel me? Once he went to another dorm, you know, they didn't peep, you know what I'm saying? They was like, what the fuck? Like, I understand he went over there, but they didn't peep where it was he was truly going. They thought maybe he was going into another dorm to buy some dope, or, you know, was taking his money somewhere else, you know, to where they start feeling some type of way. Even though he's already paying them what they want, the rest of his money is probably his business. But they didn't feel like that, because they knew if they wanted all his shit, they could get all his shit. So not only did they collect what they wanted, but they also pocket watched him. They also watched what he did with his money. You know, they had an eye on his funds. And this is the type of thing that you will see in prison everywhere you go. There will always be people like this. It ain't even got to be a gang member. It could just be someone that knows you're new, knows you're vulnerable, you don't know no better, and they'll play like they're your friend, like they can help you get things. And in reality, they got their eyes on your funds. You know what I'm saying? On your support system. Because whatever your support system is, since they're watching it, they're really, in the back of their mind, trying to make you their support system. You get what I'm saying? So the inmate ended up going over there into the other dorm, and they were thinking, you know, the fuck, let's see what he comes out with. Let's, you know, when he comes back, bitch, they were talking about it in our dorm. They were walking back and forth, talking out loud. Like, man, he over there, da 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 da. Bitch, when he come back, bitch, we finna check him as soon as he come back. He got us fucked up. So I'm laughing. I'm like, how y'all boys gonna get mad at him though? And they were like, what you mean, how we gonna get mad? I'm like, because I said, he already paid y'all the shit he paid y'all, ain't it? And they're like, yeah, fraud, but at the same time, you feel me? Whatever he need, bitch, we can get right here in this dorm. Da 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 da. You feel me? Ain't no outside shit. You know what I'm saying? Da, da, da. And I'm like, I mean, I guess, dog. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, you know, say you know, you knew someone that was selling marijuana. Okay, well, you know someone that's selling marijuana. That shit ain't as good as the people that got that shit on the other side of town, right? So you're gonna want to go spend it to the people on the other side of town, even if you can get it right here where you at. Which that's how, you know, I was looking at it. Like, you can't force them to buy shit that you can get, because what if the product ain't good, you know, or whatever it is he was doing with his money. So the whole time we're watching to see if he, you know, how long he's gonna stay in there, whatever, you know, and they called the count. So now we're like, damn, these inmates are like, shit, man, he checking in, bro, he's pulling a check-in stunt, bitch, it's count time. So now they gonna really get mad at him. They talking about they gonna beat his ass when he comes back to the dorm, because he risked going to confinement by staying in that dorm during count time. See, when they do count, your ass get caught somewhere you ain't supposed to be, you're going to confinement for unauthorized area. So they thought he was pulling a check-in stunt. You know, they thought maybe he felt like, man, I'm sick of this shit. Today's the last day I'm giving him any canteen. I'm gonna go over here and pull this check-in stunt and get up off this compound. That's what he felt like. You know, all the bloods thought that he was doing. You know, they felt like he was doing that shit personally, so when he goes to the box, he could say he's in fear for his life now. He don't want to go out there on the compound no more, and then he'd be put under PC, you know, protective custody. So as he's over there, he makes it through count time and everything, because when they come around to do count, they usually just count the heads on the bunk. As long as there's an open bunk, you know, like that someone lives in, basically. Like if someone's working in the kitchen, their bed's gonna be made, you can go sit on one of them bunks. Or if someone works DOT, outside the gate, inside grounds, or education, wherever they are, as long as there is a active, empty bunk, all right? It can't be an abandoned bunk where there's no mattress or nothing like that. It's clear as hell you don't live in here, you feel me? But if it's a bunk that has everything there, just they got count somewhere else, they were counted inside the chow hall or wherever they're at, you're good. Except for the officers, after a while, they get to know the people's face of who lives in their dorm. You know, the Sarge, he knows if you live in his dorm or not. He sees the same inmates every single day. So he's in there for a while. He makes it through count time. Next thing you know, after count clears, they're like, all right, boom, everything's good. You know, count was clear. He must have not got caught in there. All right, it is what it is. They call rec, right? When they call rec for that dorm, they don't call rec for our dorm. You feel me? They call canteen. You see what I'm saying? They split it. Half the dorms will go to canteen and barbershop. The other half will go to rec. So that dorm goes to rec. Everyone's looking out the window and shit. Like me, I'm just eating it up because I'm like, here he is. You know, I swore he was pulling a check-in stunt. I'm like, man, look, he checking in with their shit and they mad. You know what I'm saying? And they were getting mad and all, but I was laughing. And they were like, bro, you think that shit funny, dog? Because, you know, I just had that bond and vibe with everybody that, you know, they didn't get mad that I was laughing at them or nothing. They were my homeboys, you feel me? So when we look out the window, them boys go to canteen. You know, they call canteen again, boom, they go to canteen again. They go out there, they trying to get close to the rec yard as much as they can to see what's up with him. Who's he going to rec with? You know, like, why is he going to rec? He walk around the rec yard by himself out there. Like, it's one thing if you got homeboys or friends or something like that, then you're like, okay, I get what he's doing, you know. But really, he didn't have no friends. He wasn't walking around with a clique of people or none of that. He was just doing this loner shit. He was on his own out there doing that shit all alone. So once he goes to rec, he's out there with them for the whole time. Them boys wasn't able to get his attention. They hollering from the canteen line. They trying to send word to get his attention. He blowing them off. He acting like he don't hear him. Shit like that. And then in all reality, I'm watching from the window and I'm like, man, I know he heard them boys. You feel me? But I was like, shit, you know, fuck it. It is what it is. So the boys come back to the thing. They're like, man, he ignoring us, bro. This and that, man. He got us fucked up. When he come in here, he definitely got to see me. The other one's like, hell yeah. We're going to take him up through there. Blah, 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 blah. Talking all this shit that they going to do to him now. So after they close everything down, the canteen and barbershop, everyone goes back to their dorms. He goes back into that dorm after rec and shit like that. Next thing, you see the officers running over there. Running straight to that dorm. So then we're like, oh shit, he must have got found over there, you know? But in all reality, why are they running over there? If he got found over there, boy, they wouldn't be running over there like that. They would just be cuffing him and walking him out. They go over there, and once they bring him out and shit like that, they got him in handcuffs. They're rushing him and running him out. They also got the head of the Bloods at the time. He came out with his face cut open. So that boy went in there just to lay on the head of the gang that was extorting him. You see how that shit unfolded? So the day that they brought him in to show everyone what he looks like, he got to see everybody. And after a while, he just got tired of that shit. And he laid on them boys. Straight up. He went to a dorm where he didn't have no business going to, just waiting for the person who was supposed to be the head at the time of that set. You understand? Like, you know, they got east side and west side, and they got 3 different types of east and west at the time. You know what I'm saying? I know they got a bunch more different, you know, blood sets, but at the time, at this camp, there was like 2 east side sets and like 1 or 2 west side sets, you know, shit like that. But he found out what dorm that head stayed in, and he went in there and he violated and did what he had to do. Whatever he had on him, he must have found something at medical or some way to get something to cut someone, or whatever it was he was getting his hands on at medical. That's why he went straight to that dorm. Sat in that dorm, probably ducked it off inside that dorm with his clothes, went in his little gym shorts and his white tee out there to the rec yard. You feel me? Or he probably brought it with him on the rec yard and was going to decide to wet him out there on the rec yard, or whatever it was. But he ended up wetting the head at that time. And them boys in my dorm were hot. Them boys were furious, bro. They were talking about what? So when the officers were walking them by and shit like that, you know, they didn't really want to say nothing out the window, because then that lets them know that they're wanted in the dorm. You know, that they're the ones in the dorm that are going to want his head. But one of them was like, bitch, we got something for you no matter where you go. We got something for you no matter where you go. That's what one of them said out the window. Not my closest dog that was the blood, but one of his homeboys that was a blood that was in my dorm also. You feel me? So he said that shit out the window or whatever. Like, the dorm's shaped like a rectangle. We're on this front window as he's walking them towards us. You feel me? We're on the front window as he's walking them by. They walked the blood by that got all cut. First they were yelling out the window, what happened, what happened? and then the blood that got cut was like, you know what happened, you know what happened. That's what the head said. He wasn't really gonna put no names or no address or nothing out there because he was being, you know, walked by officers. The guards were bringing him over there. You feel me? They were walking him to the infirmary to patch him up. So he walks by, and then they bring the dude who they were extorting by. And when they bring him by, all of us on this front window right here, no one says nothing. But once they walk past the front windows, as they're going towards the back windows, because confinement was in H dorm at Calhoun. I was in G dorm, which is shaped like this, and then behind it is H dorm. So they walk by us, and then they go behind our building, and then walk down this little line thing to bring you to the box. You feel me? That's how you would go to the box. But first, they got to bring you to medical. You know what I'm saying? You don't go straight to confinement back there. You go to medical first. You know what I'm saying? And then from there, you get put in, you know, you get put in AC confinement, which is administrative confinement. That means you're pending your DR. You're waiting to be sentenced. And that's behind, you know, medical. That isn't in H dorm. H dorm is DC confinement, which is disciplinary report confinement after you've been sentenced. After they give you your box time, then you go there. So it ain't like they walk you straight to the box. You always got to go to medical first because you do your pre-confinement physical, which means, you know, they're going to see how much you weigh. They might take your blood. It might, whatever it is, they're going to figure out how much you weighed when you came in, if you're good at health, and then they're going to do it again to you a couple months later to make sure you're not losing too much weight. You know, they're going to try to see what they, you know, they're going to try to keep tabs on you. So all because then once they walked by our dorm, and no one said nothing on the front window, but once they walked them by the back window, someone yelled out the window, no matter where you go, boy, no matter where you go, we got you. We got you no matter where you go. Because that shit can't follow you no matter what camp you go to. As soon as he said that, them officers automatically put that inmate in PC, right? And then they came to my dorm later that night and took all the bloods out of my dorm. Every blood that was in my dorm, that was like known for being affiliated, you know, that was like, you know, he was stamped on his paperwork that he's a gang member, classified, like it lets them know that he's a gang member. They came, they scooped up all them boys, brought them to confinement. That same inmate put statements out on all of them. So my homeboy and all the other dudes that I seen in there and shit like that, which they were my dogs, the other ones, you know what I'm saying? But they weren't like the ones that I would like fuck with all the time, you know, but we've chilled before and laughed and played spades and basketball and, you know what I'm saying, smoked cigarettes and shit together, cooked food together and shit. But, you know, as far as like sitting there chopping it up, my homeboy was the main one that I would vibe with, you know, he was the one. But the other ones, if he wasn't around, you know, it was never nothing salty. It was always cool, calm, and collective. And we vibe too, you feel me? But I wouldn't call them my homeboys, you see what I'm saying? So after they all got scooped up and he put a statement on all them boys, they all got transferred behind it. Every single one of them. And he got transferred wherever he went also. He never came back to the compound. You see how that shit unfolded? So it shows like it 100% backfired on the Bloods at the time, because not only did your head get hit, which that's a big thing right there, you know what I'm saying? Their head got hit up, you know, he got his mouth cut open and he didn't even do shit. But it was like he allowed it. He didn't stop it from happening. You see? And not only did that happen, but they all got transferred behind it. So by them all getting transferred behind it, whatever they had going on, whether it was making money, whether it was, you know, selling shit, whether it was all extortion, because it wasn't just my dorm they were doing that to people. You know, no matter what it was, all that money shit stopped. All that shit just straight up, whatever you had going on, you got to cancel that. It's like if you have car insurance and you go to jail for a couple months, you know, your car insurance cancels, then you got to surrender your tag or they're going to suspend your license, you know, shit like that. Like, and there's nothing you can do about it because you're locked up. That's how it is. So they all got transferred behind that shit. And it's crazy because I guess prior to the canteen shit, once they seen he was vulnerable with the canteen, you know, I'm pretty sure they was in his chest, you know, trying to get like PayPals, Western Union, MoneyGram, Green Dots, you know, all that shit like that. Because that's another thing that plays a major role in prisons. People extort for that type of shit. We don't want this corner store food. We don't want canteen. I want real cash money. I want real money. So, you know, they'll put down on you and make you fucking get like a PayPal from your peoples, then give them the 10 digits, and then they give it to their girl on the streets or whoever they give it to on the streets that has a PayPal account to withdraw them digits. So that way it's like, you're giving me real cash instead of this canteen shit I know I'm gonna run through. Instead, I'll just stack up on the streets off of real money. So that way when I come home, I'll be straight. Or I might have family on the streets with kids, or my mom might be ill, or whatever it is. So your money could come in handy more out there than it will in here. And you always get more shit brought in when you're dealing with cash rather than canteen. See what I'm saying? Like, it's nothing to have you send me money, you know, through PayPal. I put down on you, make you get me $100 PayPal or whatever, and then you give me the digits, and now I send the digits off, boom, to my people's on the streets, and then my people's on the streets cash out on that, and then meet up with someone else on the streets that can have parts in bringing whatever I need in, whether it's a guard or whether it's someone that has access outside the gate, like another inmate who has access outside the gate. Well, I'm gonna have that person's people meet my peoples on the streets. They'll do the transaction with the money, and then he does the transaction with bringing that shit in through the person that's in here with me. You see what I'm saying? So money's always cycling through no matter how. And you got a lot of people that try to extort and put down like that. Once they see you got money, you know, once they see you got it, they'll try all they can to put down. You feel me? They'll try to extort you, you know, but they normally hunt on the weak. They prowl on the weak. You know what I'm saying? They ain't in here going after no wolf, you know, for PayPals and shit like that. They going after straight sheeps. But wolves do get themselves put in situation and get ate also because they'll owe money. You see what I'm saying? They'll front dope or they'll borrow some shit, and then even though they're, you know, they're a savage and shit like that, people still want their money. So they'll still get put down on and be forced to pay, or, you know, oh, because you fucked that dope up at that last camp you was at. You did some stupid shit and my brothers got shooken down, and then they got 6 phones knocked off and about $300 worth of Tunchi knocked off, which is K2. Y'all have heard of that. So now, because you got all that shit knocked off, you went to confinement because you got caught in a fight. You fought someone in the dorm, and then when they ran in the dorm, they were rewinding the cameras over the fight, and then they seen all these people hiding shit, so they did a shakedown. Found fucking 6 phones and $300 worth of dope in there. So you got that gang shit knocked off. Due to your fight, you got transferred. You land in another camp, word gets that you're at that camp, that same gang, even though it's different brothers, different ones of that gang, different members, just because they have word from another camp that you had that knocked off, but you're a wolf though, you're not a sheep, you're still someone that's about that issue. You're gonna have them same people that are part of that gang from your last camp whose shit was slayed during the shakedown, you're gonna have them try to put down on you and make you cough that money up little by little. You see? And then that's when you have people who are truly living like that, that are, they'll be, you know, forced to try to pay shit also. And then you got some people that, even though they're living like that, they know they was wrong, and they did wrong by getting that shit knocked off like that. You feel me? They did participate in that. You know, that's, sometimes you gotta eat that shit. Sometimes, you know, if you're the cause of someone's shit happening like that, you know you gotta man up and do what you gotta do. You see what I'm saying? That's why, like, every person that was involved with Kfrogtv, my prison footage, that was still incarcerated, the couple that went to confinement for it, I looked out for them the whole time they was in confinement. You see what I'm saying? Just because, and I was on the streets. You see, I could have said fuck that and left them in there. They knew what they signed up for. They already knew what they was getting involved in. There was no part of the deal of me paying for their stay in confinement, because everyone who was in KFROGTV's footage participated in it and knew what they were doing. They knew what they signed up for. But no, I still, you know, I still looked out for my dogs that took the fall that was in there, because here I'm on the streets, you know, and I know how it is doing box time, which they only did like 30 or 60 days or some shit like that, which, you know, but they were loving it, sending me footage and all. I even had phones, things to where they could still keep in contact with me and everything, and they were loving it. Like, fuck this box time, bitch, you kept it 100, bitch, you looking out for us, bro. You know, because canteen means so much, especially in confinement. You see what I'm saying? But I knew, even though they knew what could come of the footage I made, that, you know, no one was thinking that it was going to actually blow and they were going to actually start running down on the people in the video. You feel me? like we all talked about it. They knew what it could lead to, but no one thought we were that important enough or it would go that viral to actually happen. And when it did, even though they was agreed and they already knew what the risk was that they were taking, I still wanted to keep it 100. You feel me? And that's just me on my end, you know. But you have people that get themselves in situations when they don't mean to, you know, and then they're still forced, and you have people still trying to extort and put down on them. You know, you'll go to some camps and you'll see people that are extorting people that have 15 people they're extorting, a bully. He'll be extorting 15 people, and you'll be like, that dude's a bully right there, bitch. All he does is live off other people's shit. He'll be eating someone else's soup during the day, someone else's oatmeal for breakfast, someone else's chips and honey buns and cookies and shit at night. He's living off of everyone else's shit. You'll be like, that dude's a straight bully. But then you'll see someone else come in the dorm or him going to another dorm and he's paying them. Now he's being extorted by them. You see, that shit's like the domino effect, you feel me? You see what I'm saying? That's what it is. It starts here, this dude's extorting him, then he's getting extorted by him, then these three are extorting that guy. It goes all the way around. It's like a never-ending cycle. You feel me? But look how that shit ended out for them though. I bet you they wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting it, just for seeing it from my point of view, that dude was gonna run up there and catch the head slipping like that. You know what I'm saying? We've had a situation like that before with the Zoes also that took kind of place like that. But they ran up on the dude with a knife to cut him and a lock and all this shit. It was over a cell phone. And I mentioned this before. That was with the Haitians that weren't, you know, gang member Haitians. They were just ICNs. They were actual Haitians. And they were beefing with the actual Zoes, the gang, over a cell phone. The Haitians and the Zoes were going at it, and they're supposed to be brothers, you feel me? Even though these ones are affiliated and these ones ain't. But they ended up running out, catching the head or whatever, hitting them, running up on them, cutting them, all this different shit over a phone. So something like that took place also at Calhoun with the Z's before, you know what I'm saying? And it's crazy because I guarantee you, all them Bloods, including my homeboy, when they were all in confinement, they were probably sitting there thinking like, damn, out of every single thing we had our eyes on and every single thing that we were paying attention to, everything that we were focused on and we swore we had in line, we never, ever, ever thought this was what was gonna happen. Ever. At all. And what's crazy behind that is, before the inmate that, you know, did all that shit, before he wrote a statement on all of them, when they all got picked up and went to confinement, they all wanted to plate their own brother, which means put a hit on him, make it to where he's not a Blood no more. The one that yelled out the window, we got something for you no matter where you go. Because they all felt like they got picked up because he said something out the window. So then they all wanted to turn on him and plate him. There was kites getting sent from the compound to different people, like to different gangs, saying if he comes back out in the compound, y'all wet him. You know, they wanted to wet their own kind because they thought they all got picked up for that. You know what I'm saying? Which, it's still an unsolved thing if they got picked up because of that or because of what the dude said, you know, when he gave a statement on all the inmates. You see what I'm saying? Or they could have said that, then they could have ran in there and got all of them, put them in there under investigation, and then went and questioned the dude who cut the dude. Found out, okay, you cut an important gang member, all these other gang members said they're after you, what's really going on? And then he probably gave the statements up. So you never know how it is, you feel me? Shit's crazy though. But anyways, man, I want y'all to drop in the comment section, man. Let me know what y'all think about this situation. Like, if y'all was there, like, what y'all think? You feel me? Like, do you think, like, it could have went a different way? You know, like, or do you think that's just crazy? He did what he needed to do. I mean, at the end of the day, he was breaking it off, though, for a while. For about a month before he finally manned up and went and did that. That is some big nuts having ass move right there. Not only did you hit a gang member, but you hit the head. You know, someone that's plugged in probably at fucking 15 to 20 institutions. You know, like someone that's known, his name's known in all these different camps just by being the head. People know who he is at all different camps, you know, like that's a big, you know, that's a big, you gotta have big cojones to do that, you feel me? Straight up, you feel me? That shit's crazy. But anyways, man, like I said, y'all drop it in the comment section, man. I appreciate y'all watching. Y'all already know I'm gonna keep on giving y'all that real spill. I'm gonna start dropping some of these videos about some of these robberies I seen go down, about some of these fucking fighting and these people getting hit with locks. I seen some crazy shit. Y'all stay tuned for that real spill, man. Kfrogtv ain't going nowhere but up. And y'all already know, like I said at the end of almost every video, keep them squares, rats, snakes, and clowns out your circle. Till next time, this Frog.